Hey, good morning. I'm Dr. Michelle Pedicola of Secrets of Life and Death and Second Chance Secrets, empowering inspirational, motivational speakers, leaders, and change makers to monetize and magnetize and magnify their message with transformational, high-end coaching programs that really make a difference so that you get your message out in a more impactful way. Hey, good morning, Bruce. Great to have you join me again. Today, again, we're going to be talking about the subject of depression. Yesterday, I talked about paying attention to the body and noticing what kind of fuel you put in your body and how that might impact your state of being, your state of happiness, your emotions. And of course, we all know how, you can eat certain kinds of foods and they will at least temporarily elevate your mood. For example, chocolate. Hey, Bria, thank you for watching. We're talking about depression and how to manage it and how to get through it. So this all came up because I was in a dream group the other day and two of the members of the group were depressed. So part of it could be physical, but part of it is mental, and part of it is cosmic. So I'm going to be talking a little bit today about how that works also in affecting your emotions, that we are sponges. These bodies are like, we have feelers out everywhere, and we feel what's going on in the social and the physical world. And it impacts us and the celestial world. So you want to be aware of all these influences on how you feel. Interestingly enough, the woman who seemed to be most depressed, I sent her a link to an astrology reader's reading on the Libra new moon. And she came back with another astrology, and she's like going forward with a very positive approach to the dream that disturbed her. So that's interesting. How we perceive, how we interpret what's going on in us has a huge impact on our experience. You can't forget that. And of course, some of what you think, some of the thoughts that you have and the beliefs you have stem all the way back from early childhood. And oftentimes they're unconscious. We do have a choice. We can change. Now, I have personally found that it's very difficult to change on your own because so many of those thoughts are unconscious, and you become subject to the machinations, the concerns and worries of the inner child who has developed at a very early age how to survive. Now, those survival patterns probably they're not working very well in the adult world. That's certainly what I found out. But you have to be aware that they're still there. Even if you have managed to overcome them in a lot of ways, they can crop up, especially when you're feeling threatened or scared. That those old worries, those old responses to those worries will surface. Now, the good news is that's a really great opportunity for working on those patterns, because when they come to the surface, that's the time when you want to break through. And by the way, the new moon is about breaking old patterns, of stepping into your power, of being strong. Hey, thank you for joining. Of stepping into your power. This Libra moon in connection with the Aries, Mars in retrograde, all those, and I'm not an astrologer, I just read about astrology. All I know is that right now you have a choice, and you can choose either to become empowered, to take your own power back, or to get lost. Right now, we are experiencing a war for our minds. The people out there in the political universe are warring for our minds. I got to be honest with you. My own feeling is that the solution to our issues resides within ourselves, not out there. There is no hero that's going to come along and save you. You have to save yourself. Personally, I believe that the best way to save yourself is to connect with your purpose. Now, before you get there, I got to go back a bit, wind back a bit, and understand that when you are in that emotional state of depression or upset or worry or fear, you need to address the emotions. You can't tamp them down. Although certainly that's what we've been taught most of our lives, is that we can tamp them down. It's not a good idea, because you are fighting against the chemical forces of your body. And they are really awesomely powerful. When you release the emotional energy, emotion, energy in motion, you open things up. You make it possible for new thoughts, new ideas, new plans, new creativity to come in. But you have to release your emotions. This is what I learned from over 20 years of working with people around grief and loss. If you tap them in, you can stay in a place of grief for 20 or 30 or 60 years. I've worked with people who have literally gone that long. And in many ways, that was my experience too. It took me until I was almost 50 to wake up to the mistake I had made in my life of holding back my feelings. Of course, there were a number of pivotal events along the way that tried to wake me up. And right now, we are in a pivotal time of wake up. It is time to wake up. The planet is demanding that we pay attention. The spiritual universe, God, is knocking on our door saying it's time to wake up. So I mentioned purpose. For me, purpose is a way of understanding why we are here and giving us direction, focus on what we need to be doing. Now, the other part of this is spirit. Now, I've mentioned God. I hope I haven't freaked you out, but I believe in spirit. I believe that we are spiritual beings on this human adventure. Now, it's helpful to remember that, because this is all, in some ways, a glorious and huge dream. Because somewhere along the line, this is not going to exist in our consciousness anymore. So don't take it too seriously. Your most important purpose, your most important focus is what you need to be doing to grow your power, to grow your self-responsibility, and to take care of yourself. Not to trust all the people out there in the universe that are telling you, hey, I've got the answers. Of course, you're listening to me right now, but you have to check in with yourself and say, does this resonate? Does this feel right? Does this connect with how I feel and how I think? And if it does, then please join my Facebook group, Share Your Brilliance Trainings, which is about empowering people like you, if you resonate with me, empowering people like you to voice your wisdom, your hard-earned lessons, to share your brilliance. Because frankly, we all have brilliance. We all have something. We all have something that we came into this world to share. And I don't know how old you are, but as I get older, I start to realize how little time I have left to make my impact, to leave my legacy. And legacy is not about money, although we certainly associate legacy with money. Legacy is about how people are going to remember you. So I ask you to take a moment and ask yourself, if you were to die tomorrow, how would you be remembered? So one of my clients said, you know what? My kids said that they would remember that she worked hard. Is that the memory you want to leave people? She worked really hard? And of course, I understand that, because I certainly am a hard worker. But what would you like to be remembered as? Maybe even write your own obituary and see what comes up, and then say, how can I impact the world in that way? What do I want to leave behind? Now, I haven't told this to my friend in the dream group yet. I've simply connected her with a different perspective, which is an astrological perspective of what's going on in the world, which I find is helpful. It helps me to get out of that poor little me and into the broader perspective. Now, interestingly, when I mentioned that to her, she was like really resistant. That's the inner child. She doesn't want to be pushed. She does not want to be forced to do anything she doesn't want to do. And that's why you need to let the emotions out first. You need to honor those emotions. You can't tamp them down. You can't force a thought on yourself. You have to do this in the right process. So tomorrow, because I just love the fact that there are 3 of you listening to me. That's awesome. Tomorrow I want to talk about spirituality more, because spirituality is more than thought. It's more than a different perspective, like looking at this astrologer's take on what's going on. And by the way, all the astrologers are kind of saying the same thing. This is a really powerful time right now. Get your act together, because you either will jump to the next level, you will either make that leap, or you will get stuck. And so you really want to fortify yourself. Whoa, hi! Welcome to Sunrise Diaries. And I'm talking about depression, emotion, and the crazy times we're living in right now. That we are really being called upon to step into our personal power, to take control of our lives, to give up on expecting that some hero is going to come down the road and save us. We have to save ourselves. And my belief is that the best way for you to save yourself is to live your purpose, to share your gifts, to make an impact. How big, how small, doesn't matter. It's really owning your own self, your own true self, your authentic self. And let me tell you, that's a tall order if you've spent most of your life hiding yourself. If you spent your life concealing who you really are in order to get likes or get people to approve of you. So I leave you with this, because I have a lot of work that I have to get done today. I'm going to be taking a vacation next week. What a great thing to do in the middle of this major upheaval. But yeah, it's like time to go inside, time to check in with yourself and stop relying on the outside world. Stop listening to the news and listen to your heart. Join my Facebook group. Ask your questions. Please post and share your take on what I've been sharing with you today. What have you noticed in your life? How are your emotions going? I'm telling you, we're really in a pressure cooker. This is not the usual way for human beings to exist. I find myself feeling resentful when people come close to me on the street, because I don't wear a mask, and so I feel like, oh no, I have to move out of the way. And I do wear a mask when I go into crowded places, guaranteed. But out in this, this big space, I want to breathe the fresh air. So check in, see what's going on, share your comments, join my Facebook group, and find out what you need to be doing. What would happen? How would you be remembered if you die tomorrow? And what can you do about that? What do you need to do next? And please post it. I really want to hear. That's all for the diaries for today. It's almost the weekend. It's gorgeous here. In fact, it's unbelievably warm here, which is a little concernful. I mean, like 70s at 7 o'clock in the morning. That's really unusual for California, for the Bay Area. It's all, pay attention. Be grateful. Be alert. Notice the moment. Notice what's around you. One more thing. I saw a coyote this morning. Yes, I walked up and I walked behind him for, oh, I don't know, a good 5 minutes. And then finally he turned around and he saw me, and then he kind of quickly moved off into the woods. I got to check out Coyote. There's a medicine meaning for that. And here's another tip, is to take these sudden sightings, these sudden discoveries, as waking dream. What is the symbol of the coyote? Well, the coyote is wily, the coyote is a trickster, and the coyote is a survivor. So watch out for tricksters, watch out for people who try to lead you astray, but also rely on your own resources to survive. All right, you have a great weekend, and bye for now. Be brilliant.